Thank you for joining us at FCE Family Talk, and I am Dr. Michael DeBose, and it's a pleasure to be here with you. And we have some educational practitioners here to help to share their opinions and intellect regarding child progress monitoring. And to my left, we have
Diana Slopey, Supervisor of Mathematics.
Janiki Watley, Supervisor of Language Arts Literacy.
Jahira Ortiz, Parent Coordinator of School 24.
Dr. Melissa Baralt, Professor, Higher Educational Professional, and Community Advocate.
And when thinking about parental engagement, it's such an important element for building a successful school. And I just have a question for you all. What is the importance of monitoring your child's progress?
It is very important, from attendance all the way down to assignments, homework. It's very important. We don't want to put the load on the parents, but we do want to work with the parents. It would be good for the parents to know the assignments given to the child. Also, the parent portal, Infinite Campus, where they can monitor everything that's going on, and they can also communicate with the teacher through email.
Awesome, and I think that's a good point. Does anyone else have anything they want to add to that point?
Yes, I think it's important. I follow up with that we do maintain relationships between the parents at home and the teachers in the classroom. We don't want to wait until our students fail the marking period or they don't get to graduate 8th grade or high school because they're failing something. So by monitoring their progress throughout, we can give them support when needed as opposed to waiting. And so we can also communicate that to the teachers in the classroom.
And we're talking about the source of monitoring, and that just drives the question in my mind, what are some applications that parents can use to ensure that they're engaged in that progress monitoring?
We do have the parent portal, Infinite Campus parent portal, where they can monitor attendance, grades, assignments, like I said, and teacher communication.
And I'd like to mention that the district has also made it an important attempt to get parents up to date if they need it, and we've been integrating with tutor.com, and that's a really easy tool that parents can use so that they can leverage their resource components to help their kids succeed and do better. So I think that's important because a lot of times the parents do want to help, they don't know how to help, and that's a way that parents can also integrate into the material that's being taught in the classroom.
So we talked about Infinite Campus and tutor.com. Are there any other applications that are utilized?
Well, in literacy, we have a new intervention platform, a mirror, and that's for grades 3 through 5. So parents can ask their child, what are they doing on a mirror? They can open the app and practice at home. We also have for 6 through 12, Beable, another intervention platform. So it's important to ask your child, what are you doing on that platform? And just sit by them as they work on the various assignments.
As we can see, we have resources for all grade levels, K to 12. So I'm curious to know, what should parents know about Patterson Public Schools' approach to teaching math, English language arts, and any other content areas?
I can add on to that. Just to follow up with the programs, in mathematics, grades 2 to 8 is using a program called Success Maker. It is really important that parents do not help students help their child at home in the beginning, because they are taking a test that will then level them where they need the support. So we don't want to help them so that they score up so high and then they're not actually getting the help that they need. So that's an important thing for us to understand. But then moving forward, once they're out of that assessment, they will be working on the skills they need. And that's where you can monitor, where are they? What are the skills that they are working on? Because it is actually moving with them. In our high school, they're using something called Alex. And Alex is similar. It will open up new topics as students get to that level. So they can look at it that way.
So I'm hearing about these applications, and this will certainly require a sense of knowledge and skills on the part of the parents. What can parents do to ensure that they have those tools so that they can utilize those applications more effectively?
For one, I'd like to say that the district has the PTO, right? And the PTO is the right hand to the district. And we have people that coordinate events, meetings, and at those PTO meetings, they do have people that actually demonstrate how to use these tools. I know because in the last meeting, the tutor.com people were there and they were actively demonstrating how to get on and how to access these tools. And so I think it's important. We want to help students, but we don't show up, right? And I'm saying parents, and I'm including myself in that because I am the mother of 2 children. And I show up to everything because it's important that you are there. It is important that your face is there and that people recognize you with the school component and that your child sees you vested in their progress. And I think for educators, it's a relief when a parent is so involved and so active and asking for the proper resources. And I think rather than it be a challenge, it becomes a situation where one is driving and the other person is in the co-pilot seat, and we're all geared towards the final destination, which is success for our students.
So when we're thinking about the dynamic of parent engagement at schools, it can happen both at school and at home. How can they monitor student success with their homework, projects, and other assignments that are implemented by the teacher?
We have something, well, the Google Classrooms, we've been utilizing it and since COVID happened. So the Google Classroom, you can go on there from your child's computer, and you can also see what the teacher has been providing to the children, and also working if you have any questions, because really I'm not smarter than a 5th grader, to be honest. What I learned when I was in school is very different now. So there's a different way that they are teaching it. Even if you have the answer correct, you're still going to be marked wrong. So that's something I think parents should be aware of. When we were in school, it was different. Now that their children are in school, we need to learn what they're learning so that we could be able to help them at home. And Google Classroom helps with that as well.
You know, the population makeup of our parents who represent the Patterson Public School is wide. We have a variety of different language speakers. Are these applications available in specific languages other than English?
Parent Portal is available in Spanish as well. They can change the language.
And so is tutor.com. They have accessibility according to your language.
And on the intervention platforms for literacy, the student can also change the language.
Yes, with math as well.
Awesome.
So I just want to add on the partnership when parents are partnering with teachers, that partnership is not always for parents to deliver instruction. As a matter of fact, we wouldn't want the parent to deliver the instruction, but just create the environment so that the child can practice. And something as simple as making sure your Chromebooks are charged, making sure that we are taking care of them, because the Chromebooks are utilized during intervention. And that allows the students to get that one-on-one support. So that's one way that parents can partner with their teachers. In addition, just asking your child, like, what are you struggling with? You know, what's going well? And then having that conversation with the teachers. So important that we are bringing the child into the conversation, but then transferring that conversation to the teacher.
Dr. Joyce Epstein, who created the Overlapping Spheres of Influence, indicated that successful schools are only effective when they involve stakeholders from the family dynamic as well as the community dynamic. Do you guys agree with that as it relates to parent involvement with schools?
I believe it takes a village. Everyone should be involved in the children's education, even if it's not your child. It's still your community, and you don't want your community to fail. You want everyone to succeed in your community. So I believe everyone should be involved, from the city all the way down to the school systems.
And I do think it's important that the student or the child feels that. You know, my teacher talks to my parent. My teacher is aware, my parents are aware, and we're on the same page. So they know that we're all there to support them. I think that's very important as well.
Yes.
Well, at home, what can parents do to ensure that students are getting the most out of their studies, most out of their homework, and most out of the overall sense of learning?
I think creating a routine is essential. So having, dear time or roar time, whatever you want to call it, right? Read out loud, as loud as you can, whatever. Just having the time to say, you know what, I'm going to cut away 15 minutes, 20 minutes every morning so that everybody can read and everybody can get together and reading. You create a routine. It becomes systemic. It becomes a part of your everyday environment. And that matters, especially with kids K through 3, because when they are first introduced to sight words or things that they need to remember, it's very much memorization. And so how can I remember and recall if I've never seen such words or I've never been directly in contact with these literary terms, if you will?
I agree. I just want to add on, definitely you want to create that routine, and I think it's important for parents to reach out to teachers and ask what videos may be offered so that we can reinforce some of those sounds. When we went to school, we learned to read by a lot of memory, and the research is shifting, and now we are teaching students the alphabetic principle. We're teaching them the sounds. We're teaching that, yes, there are some exceptions, and there are many actually exceptions to the rules, but we definitely want to ensure that the parents are asking the teachers, what are some good videos? What are some good resources that I can bring into my home in order to reinforce those sounds, in order to help teach those high frequency words and sight words?
And certainly fostering a home of good study habits is essential, such as developing a study area. What are some things that parents can do to develop a study area where the child can get the most out of learning?
As a parent coordinator, I did a workshop. No child wants to go home and continue to learn, and so what I did in that workshop was make math fun. So when you go food shopping or as you're driving down the street, you just point out license plates. Hey, what is that license plate? Or add those two numbers. Or when you're going food shopping, you say, how many beans do we need? Or how many, just make it fun and bring your kids as you're cooking, involve your kids. Show them, okay, if I give you 5 beans and I take away 4, how much would that be? And they would be more into the math, and they wouldn't even think it was learning. They would think, oh, we're just having fun, we're just counting.
Right.
And even just going back to the question, having a home or an environment that is well lit, having a desk, having a specific area, and as you mentioned with routines, a certain timetable for homework and then studying. Do you guys agree that that would be effective for maximizing maybe read out loud
Absolutely.
or reading silently or just studying science?
I think that having structure will benefit them in more than just academics as well. So coming from a lower grades, sometimes the biggest problem they're having is with organizational skills. Right? So even things like, do you have your homework today? What homework do you have? Let's take it out. Let's put them in the folder. What are you keeping at home versus what needs to go back to school? Let's charge your Chromebook. So building those routines will help them in other areas, not just in their grades and academics.
Absolutely. And then going back to the parent and your point, let's log online to track your homework. Let's see what the homework assignment is, or let's see what the reading should be for the following week, and let's get a head start on that so that we could be prepared. I'm considering items, and I know that we're focusing on a variety of different grades, but specifically for high school, what can high school parents do? Because as we know, science shows or research shows that parent engagement starts to drift or they start to dwindle, especially after the middle school. What can we do to ensure that parents still have that engagement in the middle schools all the way up into high schools?
So in literacy, just asking your child, what are some books that you're reading or you would like to read? What are some topics that you are interested in? I think it's important for us to continue those conversations in high school, visiting the local library or even just finding books online. So I think that that's one way. In addition to reading, because the reading stamina increases in middle school and high school, being able to just write. Show me an essay that you wrote, because we are writing in the school, so it's important that parents are asking those questions. But when we're talking about 6 through 12, or especially, as you said, high school, making sure that students are reading a good novel. They're into a good novel. And if they're reading articles, what informational articles are you reading? And just asking, what are some good topics you're interested in? And then following up with the educator to get additional resources.
I know in my dissertation, one of the elements that was discussed is the idea that parents tend to think that their child does not want them to be involved, and that is so far away from the truth. Why do you guys agree with that?
I definitely agree. I think I see the difference. I mean, I'm practicing it, and I also foster a group of kids called the Beehive. It's about 32 kids, so I have all kinds of parents in that group. And I do notice that the more involved the parent is, the student, even if the student is not, let's say, well versed academically, but they're more attentive to what is due and what is the task at hand. Whether we're talking about math or ELA or science, they tend to work in a group setting, and they tend to know that all of us are involved, parents, together. So like one mom will call me and say, hey, did you see page 3? Do you know how to do that? Because I don't know how to do that. And it really helps you. It reinforces that we're a team and we're all here together. If one of us fails, we all feel like we failed. So I think that's so essential to create that sense of community. And even if you don't speak the same language, it's important, because a lot of times parents, like in my group, I have parents that, do not speak English, but I'm able to translate. And in translating, not only am I helping the parent, but I'm helping the student understand that language as well. So it's like a double function. It's multidimensional. And so I think it's important to kind of get that information out there and really be a success point and a resource point for parents. And I think we all said community holders, and we're only talking about students and parents. But even as residents, we have a responsibility to vote. And I'm going to say that out loud, because those are decisions that then affect the education of all of our students as well. And I think it's important. And as a political person in this community, I think it's essential to pay attention, because there's certain things that are going to affect the tracking, the progress, the learning, and how the district as a whole handles everything.
You said a lot, and there's a lot to unpack there. But one of the things that I took away from your commentary is just the idea of mutual allegiance, where when I'm successful, you're successful. And one of the ways that we can certainly exemplify that notion is the idea of when we have meetings, parent-teacher meetings, intervention and referral services meetings, Section 504 meetings, IEP meetings. Do you think that it's critical for parents to participate, or is it one of those things where you can come when you feel like coming, or should there be a variety of different avenues that schools should use to get parents to participate in those meeting types?
One, I do in person, and then I'll do virtual to accommodate working parents. It is crucial. It is very critical to have the parents go to all the meetings, because the information provided, we're teaching your kids, we're teaching your children. Your children are with us majority of the day. So wouldn't you like to know what your child is doing, what they're learning? And by coming to these meetings, you are getting all of this information. You're getting the plans for the school year. You're getting what are some things we're taking on to promote these things, like tutor.com. These are things that we have to tell the parents, but if the parent isn't at the meeting, they wouldn't know what's going on. So that's why it's very critical to go to every meeting that your school provides, because they're informative. They're informing you on what is the plan for the school year, what we expect, what you expect, because we're all a team.
Right.
And parents should not feel intimidated to attending these meetings, because we do, as your point, have translators so that they can participate and be a part of that overall decision making. And part of, attending these meetings is definitely to showcase the understanding of collaboration, right? A shared vision, shared responsibility, shared decision making. Finally, let's provide some resources for our families so that they can know how they can participate. I know we named a few earlier in the conversation, but let's just add a few more so that we can really help our parents to get in on how they can do their part, like how the school needs to do their part.
So, I'll share a secret. Why not? My kid is into Dragon Ball Z. So sometimes it's difficult to get books that he likes. So I use AI in my house. So with AI, I'll say, write him a 10-chapter synopsis so that he can read Dragon Ball Z. And the thing will give me a story that's specifically personalized and tailored to his liking. And now he's interested in reading that. So I actually use the leverage of AI. There's a lot of good tools. I know there's Splash Learn is amazing for K through 12, especially in the K through 3 zone. There's things like IXL, which is a development program that keeps, the student motivated and going from progress to progress. There's the reading one, I can't think of it.
I think it's Raz Kids.
The Raz Kids. Raz Kids. I'm like, remembering. And you go A through Z, and you're able to go through different books. And there's a lot of things. I think we don't need to be scared of the internet. I don't think we should be scared of AI. I think we need to embrace technology and integrate technology to our advantage.
And to your point, that's called digital literacy.
Right.
And when we are embracing that, we are certainly building preparation and readiness for our children for college and career. And that leads us to our final point, with having an understanding that we all have a point and all have a responsibility to the success of our children. One candle can light a million candles. And if we take time to understanding our role and our responsibilities as educators, because we are all educators, whether we are working at the school or we're just dad and mom, we have a point to helping our child to succeed. Again, my name is Dr. Michael DeBose, and I want to take this opportunity to thanking you for joining us at the FCE Family Talk. And here are my co-hosts. We had a wonderful time discussing ways that we can monitor our children's progress. Again, can I have your name so that people can know who you are?
Diana Slopey, Supervisor of Mathematics.
Janiki Watley, Supervisor of Language Arts Literacy.
Jahaira Ortiz, Parent and Community Outreach Coordinator.
Dr. Melissa Barral, Community Advocate, Professor. Nice to meet you.
So if you ever need any assistance or any guidance with assisting your child, make sure that you reach out to the school directly, or your school counselor, or any professional at the school. They'll be more than happy to assist you. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for joining us. Have a great day. Bye-bye.